Hey YouTube, there is 4 weeks left in the season, and we have a double Love Cup in a row. So it's Ultra League Love Cup this week and Master League Love Cup next week. So you might want to get yourself familiarized. Words are tough with this meta because it's on for 2 weeks, and then there's only 2 weeks at the back end of Great League. I mean, there's other cups, but realistically, Great League. So Love Cup. Love Cup's a tricky one because when you usually have limited typings, you can just kind of limited typing metas. You can just go, okay, oh, like we just had Color Cup. Fire beats grass, and grass beats water, and water beats fire, right? So those are easy. Love Cup is Pokemon that are red or pink, and so there's set color typings for these Pokemon, which means that the meta is very very random, right? So you can't. So like first of all, what Pokemon are in? Honestly, I just go by PVPOKE rankings. You'd have to look up the specifics of the color. So I think that's too tricky. Basically, we'll just say when the league turns over this afternoon, you can just open up your game and see what Pokemon you have. Here are the top ranked Pokemon. Again, there is no, not that there's no rhyme or reason for these rankings, and I will go over the reason for these rankings and why they are the way they are. But it's not as clear cut as this one's going to have a duo typing, which is going to beat the 3 typings in here sort of thing. But one thing that is always true, and I've said this a million times, is in limited typing metas, normal typings always rise to the top. And the reason that is because there is only one weakness, and that is fighting. So if you can, if fighting is not a typing directly in the meta, you limit the fighters in the meta, which means that your already limited weaknesses are gone. Right? So, Licky Licky at 1, Miltank at 2, Lickitung at 11. You can even argue Solrock at 7 and Tyrantum at 20, which are rock-type Pokemon, weak to fighting. They all get a boost up because, yes, there are some fighters, Scrafty and Medi, but as you can see, they are top fighters and they are counter users, which have been nerfed. If this was the Open Great League, these nerfed counter users are in the ranked 100, right? So the fact that they're already at 16 and 19 in this meta means that the main fighters, Primeape, Annihilape, are not here, or else they would be ranked higher. So normal typings get the boost, which give them a huge advantage, right? On top of that, you got Licky Licky, Miltank, or Bulky, you got the Body Slam Spam, you have Rollout Fast Generating, you have coverage moves and Thunderbolt and Earthquake. So that's what makes these Pokemon very, very strong. Solrock, Psywave, kind of an interesting one. So it does seem limited because there's 2 moves. Rock Slide, which stab, only 12 turns to get to, I think is going to be a good move. Solar Beam at 20, it'll be fun to land, but 20 turn moves are pretty tough to get to in general. So I don't know how often you're going to get to the Solar Beam. Then there are Pokemon that are always good in this meta. So number 6, Alomomola. This is truly once a year when this Pokemon comes out. It is a super, super bulky waterfall user. As you can see by the move counts, 21 turns to a Psychic and 30 to a Hydro Pump. It's not getting to the charge moves a lot. It's really just the waterfall damage and its bulk that gives it its strength. Let's see if there's anything, like not on this list, but something you probably will see is like Wormadam Trash. It's one of these like limited typing cups meta that I expect to see in this as well. But let's just go through the list of the other Pokemon. And again, a lot of it's just going to be like Pokemon that are just generally good versus some Pokemon that got buffed and are better in this meta and stuff like that, right? So Slowbro, buffed with the Brutal Swing. So Poison Jab's hard-hitting move, only 10 turns to a Brutal Swing. So you got like a hard-hitting Poison Jab with a quick Brutal Swing and the Surf from the Community Day. Hoosean Electrode is got that unique typing. It's a Grass Electric, so has some nice coverage plus Wild Charge nerf and with the buff Swift. Now this Pokemon was in the Color Cup because Electric was one of their colors. And I use both Swift. The other option is Energy Ball. I actually think Swift is fantastic on this Pokemon. A lot of people use Energy Ball because there was a lot of Mud Boys and stuff in that meta. I found Swift getting to that as a bait move and how just quick you get to it, it was a really, really nice coverage move. So Electrode bumped up because of that. Clefable, again, I always think Clefable is overranked because it is bait dependent. Swift, again, very, very quick to get to the Swift, but it is non-stab on Clefable. And Moonblast does take 14 to get to. So I feel like there's a Clefable seems to be overranked in the Great League and here, in my opinion. And then there's Dredgegon as a Dragon Tail user. So it's a dragon. As you can see on the list, Skeldurge, Magmar, Magmortar, Turtonator. Turtonators have dragon too, but it's got the Incinerate and Talonflame. There is a lot of fire. There's Alomomola, which is the water. There is Electrode, which is the electric grass. So why am I naming all these things? Dragon resists them all. So again, in limited typings, dragons are always, I kind of just went over a video the other day. Are dragons underrated right now? And someone made the argument, well, not when there's Wigglytuff and not when there's Darkspun and all these other fairies out there. But again, if you don't have those fairies running around everywhere, dragons and ice, the sort of two main weakens, fairy and ice, and not a lot of steel that resists your dragon tail, right? Because just think of again, you can't, it's tough to think about like every single Pokemon, but you can just kind of look at typings like, well, steel's not a red or a pink, right? So the steel, that would resist the dragon tail. Ice as blue, that would be super effective. I know it's not one for one there, but like, so when you start thinking like, take away this your weakness, take away this weakness, dragons get a bump up, which is why there's Dredgegon on the list. And there's a lot of fires. And again, I think that comes back down to water. Again, just assuming that it's blue for most of these, unless you get like the Alomomolas and Sea Kings, which have that red. This is why this meta is so weird. But less waters, fires have a better chance. So Skeldurge, Magmar, Talonflame, Turtonator. So again, with less rock probably, and less water, the fires get a boost. And then you get some just like spammy Pokemon. Sea King, Triple Legacy Sea King, Poison Jab. I've got in like an ABB style team where you try and like draw out a grass sneaky with or electric even, with the Sea King. So it's a triple legacy, so not a lot of people have it, or you've used your TMs like I have. Poison Jab, hard hitting, Drill Run, Icy Wind, nice coverage moves, decently fast to get to 14. Ariados, as we know, is very, very, very spammy in the Open Great League. Same thing here. There are a lot of fires, which is one of your weaknesses, so I'm a little more hesitant to use Ariados, but just cover maybe like an Alomomola cover weakness there. Then there's the counter users that I mentioned, right? Yes, there's going to be a bunch of normal typings, and if you look at the teams that I put out, and if you look at how safe these normal typings are, like you really need some answers for these things. So Scrafty and Medi, even though counter has been nerfed, they jump up in the rankings because you need an answer to some of these Pokemon. So those should be high. Corsola, I assume, like most people, I don't think this. I actually put Corsola on a team, but now I kind of regret it because it is an XL Pokemon because it is the same thing as the other Corsola, but just not the Galarian. And then people have probably dumped all their XLs into the Galarian Corsola, so I do not expect to see a lot of these Pokemon, quite honestly. And then I kind of went over Tyrantrum. Same thing. It is a rock, but it's also a dragon, so have that coverage there. Okay. Oh wait, Tyrantrum. Is it rock? I forget what Tyrantrum. I think it's rock, dragon, but I'm not positive on that. Okay, let's start with an ABB style team. So I started with the normal typings. I'm like, I know in these metas, normal typings just dominate. And as you can see down the board, not a ton of weaknesses. So I did cover those weaknesses. You're going to be weak to fighting. And some of these other Pokemon at the top here do beat you. So what beats fighting and these Pokemon at the top that you're going to have a problem with? A Skeldurge. It is a Ghost Fire. So ABB style team. Skeldurge on the lead. Safe swap, Licky Licky or Miltank. They're both going to be dominant. It doesn't really matter which one you safe swap. Try and draw out a fighter. Try and draw out maybe one of the other things that beat you. And then beat it with Skeldurge, and then the other one runs free. This is going to be like a very, very safe team. I would expect, like, if you're looking for just safety, the normals like you can do like a triple normal team and just call it that you're not going to see a lot of fighters and just do very, very well. Like it's going to be pretty straightforward like that. Yeah, I put Corsola on team number 2. So maybe we'll switch this, but let's just focus on the Scrafty Galarian Slowbro core. You know, Galarian Slowbro, like I said, very, very hard hitting with the Poison Jab and pretty spammy with the Brutal Swings and the Surf. It's going to be a very safe Pokemon. There's going to be a lot of safe Pokemon in this meta, and it's a lot of the top ranked Pokemon, the normal typings, Galarian Slowbro. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 others that are very, very safe. So, not going to beat the normal typings because not a lot of things do. So then I was like, okay, let's go with Scrafty to beat that normal typing. So then one of your weaknesses is Skeledirge. So I think that's why they recommended Corsola, because it seems like a good Pokemon and it'll cover your fire weakness, even though you have Surf on Slowbro, so it's not like the worst. But Poison is resisted on the Ghost of Skeledirge. So if you want another answer for that, you can go like just Alomomola or another one of the water Pokemon instead. I would shift the order around here. Like so on this way, when I build these teams, I usually start with the top ranked Pokemon and then pair them and then figure out the last Pokemon. Just because I want to see how the top Pokemon play in this meta. But Slowbro is going to play way better as a safe swap than it will as than Scrafty or Corsola or Alomomola, however you want to build this team. So I would use Slowbro as a safe swap. So it's the normal typings and Slowbro should be some of the main safe swaps. Okay, this is like an ABB style team. So you're double water in the back with the grass electric on the front. Sea King is kind of a tricky one because you see the water, but that water has poison and ice and ground. So if you instant swap to a Sea King and people do not wait, they see the typing and they sort of instant swap and do not know what you are, especially if they go into like a grass or something, you hit super effective with the poison jabs and you hit super effective with the icy wind. And if an electric comes in, you hit neutral with the poison jabs and super effective with the draw one. So it's basically trying to draw out one of your weaknesses. Electrode can do okay with against them because it's still just like neutral at best against a lot of those. So you can replace Electrode if you want. But those Electrode will resist all the moves on those weaknesses. And then Alomomola in the back to roam free there. So Sea King, as you can see, because it's pretty spammy and it's got those like crazy coverage moves, it should be another one that is decent. Solrock, I wanted to see like what's Solrock's I wanted to see how Solrock played as a Psywave user. So you know, it's got some wins, it's got some losses. I don't think it's as safe as some of the other Pokemon, but I think Psywave will really cause problems on this move. Again, I don't think you need the second move. I think you probably just get by on Psywave and Rock Slide. I think its second move is actually holding it back. So in terms of coverage, paired it with Clefable for its coverage. And then because they covered each other so well, I just put in Licky Lick as a third because, again, when in doubt, the normal typings are going to save you in this meta. Okay. Sort of an ABB style team, sort of not. Dredregon and Crocodile are both weak to Fairy and Ice. So you're going to have Talonflame as a fire on the front, and then these two on the back. The problem with these two on the back, if you're going to run a team like this, is although there's not a ton of Fairy in this meta, like Clefable you can see is one of the top ranked Pokemon, neither of these two are safe to switch into, right? Because you can get punished by Clefable on Dredregon, you can get punished by Alomomola on Crocodile, and others. So, you know, this is more of a risky team. It really depends what you're seeing in your meta. If you're seeing like a lot of just like normal typings and just fires and stuff like that, I think these two in the back will cause that a lot of trouble because they pair up very well against some of the main top meta here, as you can see. But they have also the opportunity to be punished. So if you don't want to like risk it with those two on the same team, you could do like a balanced team of just use one of those with a safe swap and like something that covers like something like a Talonflame that covers their weaknesses. Oops, sorry. And last one here. Yeah. Ariados, Alomomola, and Wiggly. So again, this leaves you a little vulnerable to fire because Ariados is weak to fire and Wiggly will be resisted by fire, which is why you can see Talonflame there is going to cause the team some problems. But that is what Alomomola is for. A very, very hard-hitting waterfall user that has a lot of bulk. A lot of bulk if you play those matchups out. So I think just looking at this like list here of the main meta Pokemon, I think that it is going to be a lot of like your Licky Licky, Miltank, Galarian Slowbro are going to be 3 absolutely insane safe swaps. So you're probably going to see a lot of teams with those 3 as the safe swaps. So if you want to already start thinking now, what are the best answers for these Pokemon? How do I beat them? You know, if you can find like you got like Medi and you have Scrafty that can maybe beat the Licky Licky Miltank, and then Slowbro's half like Psychic, so maybe find like a Dark or something, or something ground to beat the poison. You can start thinking about how to beat those as safe swaps. I think you're going to see a lot of just the old school ones that people haven't used much of, like Bruxish is in here, Alomomola. So some of these Pokemon that people probably have built up but only have play in limited metas, people are going to use because they probably there's like I don't know what to call it, but it's almost like a FOMO of like I've built up these Pokemon but I haven't used them, and now these are somewhat useful in limited meta, so I'm going to use them, sort of thing. So you'll probably see a lot of those, and then the other end, you're probably just going to see a lot of Pokemon that people already have, right? So people have, on top of the safe swaps, Licky Licky Miltank, they have like probably Skelders, they have Talonflame, they have Ariados. So I wouldn't be surprised if you just see a lot of Pokemon that people already have. So because this meta is very tricky in the fact that like there's no like type A beats type B, type B beats C and stuff like that, it'll take probably a getting used to. So when in doubt, like I said, if you're ever in doubt, always just go safe Pokemon and then adjust based on what you're seeing on the meta. Okay, so that's the plan. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.